Erica Adams had always loved her family's home in Northern Virginia. The two-story colonial, with its creaky wooden floors and charming window seats, had been in her mother's family for 3 generations. At 16, Erica knew every corner of the house, except for one. In the basement, past the laundry room and the shelves of holiday decorations, there was a small door that remained permanently locked. The door was oddly placed, tucked behind the water heater, and led to a room barely larger than a closet. "It's just old storage space," her father had explained when she'd asked about it years ago. "Nothing interesting in there, just pipes and electrical stuff." But he never offered to open it, and the key was kept in her parents' bedroom drawer. Erica had mostly forgotten about the mysterious room until the weekend her parents went away for their anniversary. She stayed home with her 19-year-old sister Lauren and their baby brother Jake, who was just 6 months old. Their parents had only been gone for 2 days, but already the sisters were exhausted from caring for Jake, who seemed determined to test the limits of their patience with his fussiness. "I think he's finally down," Lauren whispered on Saturday night, tiptoeing out of the nursery. "If we're lucky, we'll get 3 hours before he starts up again." Erica nodded, grateful for the momentary peace. Outside, summer storm clouds gathered, darkening the evening sky prematurely. By 8 o'clock, rain lashed against the windows, and occasional flashes of lightning illuminated the living room where the sisters had settled in with a movie. "I'm going to check on Jake one more time," Lauren said during a lull in the film. "Then I might try to get some sleep while he's quiet." Left alone, Erica pulled a blanket around her shoulders and tried to focus on the movie. The old house creaked and settled around her, its familiar noises usually comforting. But tonight, with the storm outside and her parents away, each sound seemed amplified, more noticeable. The soft metallic clink from somewhere below made her pause the movie. The sound was distinct, like a key or small metal object falling to the floor. Erica listened intently, wondering if Lauren had gone to the basement for something. But she could hear her sister's footsteps overhead, moving around in her bedroom. "Probably just something shifting in the laundry room," Erica murmured to herself, though she couldn't shake the unease that crept along her spine. Minutes later, as she became engrossed in the movie again, another sound caught her attention, this one unmistakable. A door closing firmly. Not slamming, but deliberately shut, with the distinctive click of a latch engaging. The bathroom door. Erica frowned. Lauren would have had to come downstairs and walk past the living room to use the first-floor bathroom, but Erica hadn't seen her, and the upstairs bathroom was right next to Lauren's room. "Lauren?" she called, muting the TV. No answer came from upstairs. Rising from the couch, Erica moved cautiously toward the hallway. The first-floor bathroom door was closed, though she was certain it had been open earlier. She could see light from under the door. "Lauren, are you in there?" she asked, rapping lightly on the door. Silence answered her. Erica pressed her ear to the door. Nothing. No water running, no movement. Just silence. "This isn't funny," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. Her hand hovered over the doorknob, hesitating. Then, gathering her courage, she turned it and pushed the door open in one quick motion. The bathroom was empty, but it wasn't undisturbed. The small window above the shower was open, rain spattering the tile floor beneath it. On closer inspection, Erica realized with a jolt that the window wasn't just open. The screen had been removed, now leaning against the bathtub. Cold air and a fine mist of rain swept in, raising goosebumps on her arms. Heart racing, Erica quickly closed and locked the window. She was certain it had been closed earlier. Her father was fanatical about keeping the house secure, especially during storms. "Lauren!" she called, louder this time, hurrying back to the hallway. "Lauren, come down here!" A sleepy voice responded from the top of the stairs. "What? Is Jake up again? Did you just use the downstairs bathroom?" Erica asked, looking up at her sister's confused face. "No, I was almost asleep," Lauren said, frowning. "Why?" "I think someone opened the bathroom window," Erica said, her voice dropping to a whisper. "I heard the door close, but no one was inside." Lauren's expression shifted from annoyance to concern. "Check all the doors and windows," she said. "I'll look in on Jake and be right down." Erica moved through the first floor methodically, checking locks and peering out windows into the stormy darkness. Everything seemed secure until she reached the kitchen door that led to the basement. It stood slightly ajar. She distinctly remembered closing it after moving a load of laundry to the dryer that afternoon. The family always kept it shut because cold air from the basement crept up otherwise. The sensible thing would be to close the door, maybe push a chair against it, and wait for Lauren. Instead, Erica found herself drawn forward, straining to hear any sound from below. Just as she was about to shut the door, a faint noise drifted up. A soft scraping, like something being slowly dragged across the concrete floor. "Lauren!" Erica hissed, backing away from the door. "Someone's in the basement." Lauren appeared in the kitchen doorway, Jake whimpering in her arms. "What are you talking about?" "Listen," Erica whispered, pointing to the basement door. Both sisters stood frozen, listening intently. For several seconds, there was nothing but the sound of rain and Jake's fussing. Then, unmistakable this time, footsteps. Slow, deliberate footsteps coming up the basement stairs. Lauren clutched Jake tighter, backing toward the living room. "Get my phone," she whispered urgently. "It's on the coffee table." Erica dashed to the living room, grabbed the phone, and was halfway back to the kitchen when a blood-curdling scream shattered the tense silence. The scream came from the basement. It wasn't anger or frustration. It was pain and fear, raw and primal, cutting through the air and stopping Erica in her tracks. The sound was followed by a crash and the tinkling of broken glass. "Call 911!" Lauren cried, retreating further into the living room. Now, with shaking fingers, Erica dialed, her mind racing. Who was in their house? What was that scream? Her thoughts scattered like marbles as the dispatcher answered. "Someone's in our house," she managed to say, giving their address. "Please hurry." "Are you in a safe location?" the dispatcher asked. Erica looked around the living room. The front door was across the hall, but they'd have to pass the kitchen and the basement door to reach it. "I don't know," she admitted, tears threatening. "They're in our basement. It's just me, my sister, and our baby brother here." "Is there a room you can lock yourselves in?" the dispatcher asked calmly. Lauren was already moving toward the stairs. Jake clutched to her chest. My parents' bedroom, Erica said, following her sister. It has a solid door with a lock. As they hurried up the stairs, another crash echoed from below, followed by heavy footsteps crossing the kitchen floor. They barely made it into the master bedroom before the intruder began climbing the stairs. Lauren locked the door while Erica dragged the heavy dresser in front of it, the phone still pressed to her ear. "We're locked in the bedroom," she told the dispatcher, her voice quavering. "But they're coming up the stairs." Through the door, they could hear slow, unsteady footsteps in the hallway, a thump against the wall, a ragged breathing sound. Then silence. Jake began to cry, his wails piercing the quiet. Lauren tried to shush him, rocking him desperately. But the baby was inconsolable. "He knows we're in here now," Lauren whispered, fear etching her features. Erica backed away from the door, looking frantically around the room for something, anything, to use as a weapon. Her father's golf club leaned in the corner, and she grabbed it, gripping it so tightly her knuckles turned white. "Police are 4 minutes out," the dispatcher's voice came through the phone. "Stay on the line with me." Those 4 minutes stretched into an eternity. The footsteps moved away from their door, and they heard other doors opening and closing. The bathroom, Jake's nursery, Lauren's room. Searching. Whoever was out there was searching the house. When flashing lights finally illuminated the bedroom window, Erica nearly collapsed with relief. The sound of sirens, car doors slamming, and authoritative voices calling out filled the air. "Police! Is anyone in the house?" "We're upstairs," Lauren shouted. "Locked in the bedroom." What followed was a blur. Officers securing the house, finding no intruder but plenty of evidence that someone had been there. The basement window had been broken from the outside. Muddy footprints tracked across the concrete floor, up the stairs, through the kitchen, and all over the house. But the most disturbing discovery came when an officer asked about the small room in the basement. "It's always locked," Erica explained, still clutching her father's golf club. "Nobody ever goes in there." The officer exchanged glances with his partner. "It's not locked now," he said, "and it looks like someone's been living in there." Later, after her parents had rushed home and the police had taken statements, Erica stood in the basement, staring at the open door that had been locked for as long as she could remember. The small room beyond was barely 6 feet square. Inside, officers had found a makeshift bed of blankets, a battery-powered lamp, food wrappers, and water bottles. A backpack contained clothes, a notebook filled with unintelligible scribbles, and a set of house keys. Keys that opened every door in the Adams home. Most disturbing of all was the wall beside the bedding. Taped to it were several photos, clearly taken inside their house. Pictures of the family at dinner, Lauren studying at the kitchen table, their parents asleep in bed, and even baby Jake in his crib. Some were weeks old, judging by Jake's size in them. "Best we can tell," the detective explained gently to the horrified family, "someone has been living in your basement for at least a month, possibly longer. They've been coming and going through that basement window and using this room as a hideout." "But the room was always locked," Erica's father insisted, his face ashen. "I kept the only key in our bedroom." The detective held up an evidence bag containing a small silver key. "This was found in the intruder's backpack," he said. "It's a copy of your key." "Who was it?" Lauren asked, clutching Jake protectively. "Did you catch them?" The detective shook his head. "Not yet. But we have blood samples from the bathroom where it appears they injured themselves on the broken window. The scream your daughters heard was likely when they cut themselves trying to escape after realizing you'd discovered their presence." That night, despite the added deadbolts, alarm system, and police patrol outside, no one in the Adams family slept. Erica lay awake, remembering all the times she'd felt watched in her own home, all the small, unexplained occurrences, items not quite where she'd left them, doors she was sure she'd closed found open, the feeling of someone's gaze on her back. For over a month, a stranger had lived in their midst, watching them, learning their routines, taking their photos while they slept, all from behind a door they thought was securely locked. The invasion was complete and profound, and Erica knew that the sense of safety within those walls had been permanently shattered. 2 weeks later, police arrested a man trying to break into another home in the neighborhood. In his possession was a notebook with detailed observations of the Adams family, when they left for work and school, when they went to bed, what security measures they had. The man was identified as Robert Crane, a former maintenance worker who had been in their home 3 months earlier to repair a leak. He had made a copy of the basement room key during that visit, and had been returning almost nightly ever since, sometimes staying for days when the family was away. He'd watched them, photographed them, even eaten their food while they slept upstairs, unaware. The small room in the basement was sealed up after that, the doorway covered with drywall and painted over as if it had never existed. But for Erica, the knowledge of those eyes in the darkness, that presence in their home, could never be erased. Even years later, living in her own apartment across the country, she would sometimes wake in the night, certain she heard the soft clink of a key falling to the floor and the gentle click of a door that should never have been opened. Thanks for listening. Subscribe for more horror videos. Goodbye.